Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever in the world you might be watching. One of the most powerful formulas in Excel is if. It is also one of the least understood, particularly for those people who are rather new at Excel, perhaps in the beginning stage. But I'd like to show you how to use it and the theory behind it. So first of all, notice that there are three tabs down here. Our simple if, this one here, and then a range of students with their marks and whether they were above or below an average mark. Then we'll look at a rather more advanced situation with multiple ifs. In other words, I want to see the same students with their same marks, but I want to grade them according to the parameters over here. Again, as we perform each action, we'll put a tick in the boxes here so that we know exactly where we're at. And then finally, we'll look at a commercial example, 9 weeks of sales in thousands, and whether or not there needs to be some action with the sales manager to discuss situations where sales perhaps have fallen below certain figures, and where they're really average, as in these three, perhaps we might want to bring in the head honcho, the general manager, and have a chat about why those sales were down. So let's start with the simple if. Now the question is, does the number here, 100, relate to cats or dogs? Remember, this is purely an example of how if works. If there are exactly 100 cats, then the answer we're going to see in A19 is cats. But if there's any other number other than 100, the answer is dogs. So let's look at the formula. They always start with an if, as you're aware, if. And then the first thing we do is to remember that if always has three arguments. The first is the test, so we're going to test cell A9. Then we want to see the result if the test is true, but if it's not true, then the result if the test is therefore false. So let's test A9. If A9 is equal to 100, followed by a comma, that's our first argument, show me the word cats, comma, and our third argument is dogs. That is, if the number is not equal to 100. Close bracket, and remember that if you want a text result, you need to enclose the text in double quotes. So let's press enter and see what the answer is. The answer is cats, because the number is exactly equal to 100. So let's change the number to 105. I should see dogs, and I do. What if the number was 98? I still see dogs. But if the number is exactly 100, I see cats. So that's quite simply how if works. Three arguments. A test. The result if the test is true. The result if the test is not true. Now let's look at our next situation here. We have our students with their marks, and I want to see if they're above or below the average. So remember to click in the cell where you want the answer. That is in that cell there. We need to test that one cell, and then we simply copy the formula down, as you'll see. So we'll click in the cell where we want the answer, and I've already typed the formula in. And let's look at the formula. And it involves what we call a nesting situation. There is another formula within the if statement. Now the way Excel works is that it looks at the innermost brackets first, and then it moves outwards. So it sees these brackets in here surrounding the average statement. So it says, well, I've got to work out the average of D3 to D11, and then work out that if D3 is greater than the average, then I want to see the word above. But if it's not, I want to see the word below. So that's all that formula is up there, preceded, of course, by an equal sign. So we typed our formula in, We'll copy the formula down. I'm going to delete these particular cells, and we'll simply copy the formula down by dragging with our mouse, and there are the answers. So we can tick that one off. Check if the results are correct. Always have a bit of a look at your result, which we've done, and once you're happy that the result is correct, you can pat yourself on the back. But before you do a little test. Change one of the marks. Let's make Joe, we'll make him 98. He's brilliant. And he is now above. He's now well above that average mark, which has also changed incidentally. I purely put that formula in there just for reference sake. It has no real bearing other than that. Now, let's pat ourselves on the back now because we know it all works, but we'll put Joe back to where he was. I think he was 45 or something, and he's now below, and the average mark has changed, so Excel takes care of all of these things for you. Now we can pat ourselves on the back, having understood the way a simple if works and how we can embed another function within the if statement. Now we're going to look at something rather trickier. In this case, we'll look at using multiple if statements. And what I want to do here is again to look at the students, same marks, but I want to show their grading parameters in here. Very handy for teachers, of course, where you're wanting to analyse your class. And the parameters are these. If a mark is over 90, show me the word excellent. If it's 80 to 90 inclusive, show me very good. 70 to 80 inclusive, good. Below 70, fair. Now this is how the formula works. It can be rather tricky. So here is the formula, and the first thing I'm going to do is to test cell D4. My apologies, test cell C4, this one here. Is it greater than 90? If it is, show me the word excellent. In double quotes, of course, because it's text. But if it's not greater than 90, then use another if statement which embeds the AND statement. The AND statement works in this way, that two results must be true. So therefore I've said if and C4 is less than 91, that is it could be 90, or greater than 79, that is it could be 80, which matches the 80 to 90 there, show me the word very good. But what if it is not matching those two first tests? I need another if statement. If and C4 is greater than 69, that is, it can be 70 or above, but must be less than 81, that is, that it is between 70 and 80 inclusive, show me the word good. If that is not the case, show me the word fair. So that's my formula. So what I'm going to do is to look at the formula up here, and I'll place an equals sign in front of it and press enter. And there it showed me the word excellent. But we don't want the formula there, we want it here. So what I'm going to do is to again move that formula up into there, and we see excellent. So therefore I clicked in cell D4 where I wanted the answer. I typed the formula using if and AND. I will now copy the formula down through the other cells, and there are the answers. Elephant is fair because she is less than 70. Jonna Groats, 86, very good. Mary Quant, excellent, because she is over 90 and the other two are fair. Now this particular formula and its construction takes some study and some thought on how it works. Make sure you're fully aware of where the commas appear, where the brackets are. Remember that the opening and closing brackets must balance. Therefore, there are 3 closing brackets to match the 3 opening brackets throughout the formula. So spend some time on this one because it is well worth it. Finally, we'll look at a commercial example. In this cell, in E3, I've said if D3 is less than 30, show the word discuss. Otherwise, show nothing. 2 double quotes together give me a blank cell. Now, because it's less than 30, I see the word discuss. Over 30, a blank. Over 30, a blank. The rest are discuss. Now, that's say with the sales manager, for example. But for very, very weak sales in these cells here, weeks 4, 5, and 8, the head honcho, the general manager, wants to get involved to find out what was going on in those cells. So what we're going to do here is to look at the formula in there. And we say here, if, and again we'll use the AND statement, if D3 is less than 25 and E3 is equal to the word discuss, then show me the answer yes. But if those 2 situations are not matched, leave a blank. So let's look at that. When we dragged it down, I saw that this one wasn't involved. Why? Because D3 was greater than 25, even though the word in E3 was discuss. In this cell, I see the sale was not less than 25 and not discussed, so again there was no answer there. But in this one, for example, the D3 is less than 25 and E3 equals discuss. Therefore, I want to see the word yes. And the same logic applies to the cells here according to our formula. So there you go. There's a rundown on the if statement that requires some thought. You can see why beginners have a little bit of a problem with it, but with careful study, I'm sure you'll be okay. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.